This comes often. Be open to new ideas. Discuss them. Compare them with what you know and think. Get the most benefit possible out of information that is new to you. Healthy ideas renew the emotions and supply the feelings with stimuli and enthusiasm. Nobody is so wise that they do not need to learn more, or so complete that they can dispense with other contributions to their inner growth. Learn more and be receptive to new contributions. This comes often in our meetings, right? Okay, so let's do the opening prayer. Mother, Father, God, Divine Creator, thank you very much for all that has been given to us. Thank you very much for all the blessings that come to our life. Even when they don't look like blessings. Thank you for all the opportunities we have to transform ourselves into something much better, even though the pathway may not be all roses. Thank you, above all, for what you gave us. The greatest gift there is, the greatest opportunity there is, life itself. A life that never ends. And with that in mind, and with our hearts full of hope, we ask permission to open our Spiritual Sunday this morning. Thank you, thank you, thank you very much, thank you. Okay, so today we're going to talk a little bit about, it's chapter 10 of the Gospel according to Spiritism, where it's one of the toughest, toughest for me. I was doing some checking on and it's the thing about forgiveness that Jesus was so particular about it, right? This forgiveness thing is a pesky thing. And Jesus was so clear, right? That's the passage. I was reading Matthew, and when they ask, Jesus was about all forgiveness. You have to forgive your brother or your sister. Yeah, you have to forgive them. And they were like, okay, let's test Jesus. How many times I have to forgive my brother, my sister, when they do harm to me or they do something bad to me, right? And there's this stuff of, how many times? 7 times? I mean, it's like, I don't know which one was the apostle that was asking. I said, should I forgive them 7 times, right? Which is like, I guess, let me tell you the numbers back then. And Jesus went like, no, you should forgive them 7 times 7 or 7 times 70, depending on the translation, right? And remember, we nowadays, we're all math wizards compared to the people 2,000 years ago with barely no education, right? Any one of us, even you think you might not like math at all, you think you're like, that's not me. The math you know today is incredibly more sophisticated than any math a fisherman in Palestine 2,000 years ago was capable of articulating. And for them, the expression 7 times 70 had a meaning of a gigantic number. The same way today, if you know what the meaning of Google is, right? Google is a gigantic number, right? That's why the name Google company came from, right? So in a way, nowadays, even some people do the math, and 7 times 7 is not, or 7 times 7 is not even a big number, so that much. But that was not the meaning at the time. The meaning is truly, you should forgive as much, forgive people as much as needed, right? And why is that? And this is so hard. I don't know about you, but I don't know, maybe it's just me, but we love to be victims. And it's amazing how many times, because we love to be the ones being suffering injustice, right? And I don't know, we dwell sometimes on those thoughts, and sometimes they take a lot of our mental space. And I'm not saying we're wrong, because in many cases we're right? We have been wronged. People have applied to us injustice in so many situations. We're not arguing about that, right? If you think about Earth and life on this planet, justice is not our strength, right? I think, knowing, life on Earth, we all should agree that justice is not the thing that's more widespread. Quite often, it's an unjust life, it's an unjust planet. I mean, our society has a lot of elements that are unjust. In our families, our people, because, the vast majority of us, we're not loving beings, right? We are, in most cases, very selfish, right? And here's the challenge, right? So a core part of the experience of Earth is going through that. You will, at some point in your life, no matter how blessed you are in your life, no matter how much a great family, great friends, whatever community you have, no matter how much you are blessed by your environment, at some point in time, you will experience it. Some level of, harm done to you that was not fair, right? Some people are going to experience that all the time. Some people are abused, born into situations where they are not even considered humans, right? They have inherently less rights than the other people for whatever situation it is. Right? We're not going to get into details, but I think you can imagine a situation of someone born into this earth as a community and suffer tremendously according to whatever rule was applied to that community, right? So those people are enduring tremendous pain. But here's the thing. The problem we're dealing with is very simple, but hard for the majority of us to understand. But here we're going to say it, right? We're going to say it. The simple problem we're not getting, and the vast majority of us don't get it, but we will talk about it right now, is that we don't have a single life. We don't. We don't live once, right? And what we are seeing right now, when you look at me, Anisio, right now, some of you might know me a little bit better, you know my story a little bit here and there, right? But even myself, I don't remember past lives. And it's a blessing, I think. Many people ask me, Anisio, you believe in reincarnation, so why don't you want to check what you did past life and where were you? And so what did you do? And I said, no, I don't want to look. Because I know the problems I have today, and they are probably worse in past lives. And here's the simple problem. We are not this life. Anisio, I'm not this person you know here, just this. I've been in this situation right now, but I'm a continuum of experiences that happen for many, many, many lives, and who knows how many, right? And all those experiences and all those actions and choices I have made over time compose who I am today, right? And here's the challenge. If we look back in history, if we grab a history of anyone you pick, and you look back and see what people used to do, there's a high probability that those people raising injustice and creating all sorts of trouble in the past were some of us, right? So that's the simple thing. We are harvesting, for the most part, what we seeded long, long time ago. what they say, what the spirits tell us, that divine law is absolutely just. That's what they say. It might be wrong. But what they say is no, the law is the same for everybody. And you know what I believe? Why I believe that? Because all the laws of nature don't discriminate. We are bound to the same laws of nature, all of us. Gravity doesn't discriminate. Electricity doesn't discriminate. Just put your fingers on the socket and the wall, you're going to know pretty quick. There's no discrimination. The laws of nature work exactly the same. Your body functions exactly the same as mine. So everything that comes from God, everything that comes, it's homogeneous in the way it applies to all of us. Humans, no. We create all sorts of differences. But when we analyze simply, when we just put the perspective of multiple lives, understanding that we were not created when our bodies were created, but created long time ago, and we look back in history and we see, and we just check how we treated each other not long ago. Imagine if you go back further, right? You will understand that we are reaping right now the consequences of some of those actions, right? That's why forgiveness is so big. Because if I don't forgive, I'm stuck. Fundamentally, one of the worst consequences of not forgiving is a terrible thing that many of us are tempted to do, which is revenge, which is fighting, getting into the fight, in trading like blows to blows. From a physical perspective, it makes total sense, right? Because if you look at this, if I want to try to get the most for me materially, right, that makes total sense. And that's why so many people engage in those things, because who cares? I mean, I want to have the material resources I need right now, to the most quantity or whatever, But the problem is the long-term life. The long-term life. What the spirits tell us is that if you could see the consequences in the future, because it's very simple. All the people around us will be alive. When we die, nobody dies. It's not just us. So your relationship with all the people you have touched, right? All the people you have touched. They know you and they have a perspective of you. And once we leave this physical life we're in right now, what's going to be left? Relationships. Because we're going to have to start over. And relationships is exactly what we break and destroy here when we are focused on selfishness in this world. So forgiveness is probably the greatest element of freedom for us. And we still have this horrible expression, we forgive people, right? We give like we're giving them a gift. Like when I forgive someone that actually caused me pain, caused me destruction, it seems like I'm giving something to them. It's like a gift. And yet, it's nothing to do with that, because that person will have to deal with the consequences of whatever they did, regardless of what I do. Because it's going to be their lesson, right? And why it has to be like that? Because we have to learn. We have to learn to be loving. And one of the techniques I hope you understand that God uses is pain. And this is basic, right? So how we, as kids, we learn to behave properly. We learn to do things properly. Pain. If we do something gives you pain, you stop doing it. It's so simple. It's a very clearly a way that we learn. We try. If it works, we keep doing it. If it doesn't work, right, we don't do it anymore. If we have pain, we stop it. That's the natural way we learn things. And that's the way that's the way the universe is. So that's why we have this feedback system, right? So forgiveness is really nothing to do with other people, what they did, right? Because they will have to deal with their own lessons, right? Forgiveness is for us to free our mind to do what's right. to do whatever is appropriate, to not allow us to be immersed in that painful emotional space that paralyzes us and truly paralyzes. But we don't forgive, you get paralyzed. I mean, just do an analysis. I mean, every time we don't forgive, we are immersed in that. We live in that situation. We live in and God knows how many horrible situations are going on right now, right? Where people are living immersed in that painful process of dwelling in all the things that were done wrong to them, and paralyzed, virtually paralyzed. And that has no time, because it's not even a material thing. That can even go with you as a spirit, because it's in your mind. It's not in your body, in most cases, in your body. And here comes even the worst thing sometimes. Sometimes people don't forgive us, and we didn't even do anything we think was wrong. Isn't it funny? Sometimes you do the right thing, we do what you're supposed to do, right? And people don't like it or don't agree with it, and they start hating you, right? But here's the thing, that's the easiest for us. Why? Because hopefully our consciousness is clean. Because if you did what you're supposed to do, if you did your best, your consciousness is clean, right? It's clean, right? Even though that individual will throw the energy, will work with you, will make it, so your consciousness protects you in a sense, right? If your consciousness doesn't protect because we didn't do what we were supposed to do, then we have some reparations, we have some work to do. There's a story I'm going to mention to you as last is a story of is one of the book is Liberation, I think is the name of the book, Liberation, and it's André Luiz, psychographed by Chico Xavier. I don't remember exactly which number is in the series of books. It's called Liberation. And there's the story of Gregorio, right? I think they didn't translate the name. I think the English translation has Gregorio there as well. And it's a case of obsession, a case that we talk about, something, a disease that most people on earth don't even know about. Right, which is if you go into the Bible times, is the spelling the problems with demons and things. It has to have historically in society. There's always been this concept, but nowadays, of course, we think it's still masked in some physical conditions. Like it could be like when you have multiple voices and the name came out of psychosis and all. We think many of those are still the same thing we call today, right? But as time changes, the names and the way we deal with them changes. But nowadays, we think the problems are the same. There's no, the human condition is the same. So for us, it's the influence, simply the influence, interaction between us without the flesh and us people on the flesh. It's the same community, right? And those interactions can be negative, right? And there's a case where they're dealing with an individual that passed away in the last life in a difficult condition because it was very hateful, very destructive, right? Crossed to the other side, right? And suffered a lot because he was taken care of by the group of people that was doing the stuff he was doing. So he was abused and everything. But he was so hardened, the heart was so hardened that eventually he made his way and gained because of his aggressiveness, gained the respect of those that were annoying him or obsessing him. So he became one of the leaders of that movement because of her hardness, because his shared work. He was a very dedicated person, but the direction was the one of destruction. And he caused a lot of harm to a lot of people here on this side, on the flesh, because he was very capable. His mind was very, very intelligent, right? Very capable of using the techniques of manipulation. Think about someone that's charming and capable of convincing you of whatever you want, they want. So, and the harm was tremendous, right? And the book tells you the therapy. And I was thinking about that as like, oh my goodness, this individual was in such a difficult condition that apparently, in normal circumstances, he was already in a situation that would require to be removed from this planet, because such a deep hate and deep destruction and thousands of lives touched by that work, right? But what happened? The mother, spiritual mother of this individual, was a loving being. And she didn't give up. That years and years and hundreds of years, she didn't give up. She didn't give up. No matter how bad he was, how destructive he was, she was on the other side being constructive, healing, and compensating. And she intervened. The book doesn't tell us who, but someone intervened, and he was not let go of earth. And he was treated. He was actually treated in a condition in the spiritual realm. And the chapter describes the therapy. And when you read, it is annoying, because I don't know about you, but when I read it, even though the book is very light on the details of what he did, they describe a little bit the story, what he did to his mom in previous life. And that already is enough to get our, rattle our judgmental minds. And I was already not very positive towards him, right? Reading the book. And then the therapy they apply to him of patience and compassion. And then Andrea Luiz asks in one part of the script, shouldn't something be done to him, a little bit more strength, more forceful, right? And then there's the answer from one of the mentors over there to him. It goes more or less in this line: not in the work of Jesus. Apparently, the therapy of choice for them, for Jesus, is really an application of love. The 7 times 70 is really an incredible amount of patience. And that I see how much we have to go. Because that level is insane. Insane. But it seems to be who we're dealing with. This is the spirit that actually is guiding us on earth, right? And that's our journey, I guess, right? To at least learn the basics in this life. But the journey of forgiveness is long. And it's a process that probably will take us quite some time to appreciate. But it seems to be the most capable of producing results, right? But the problem is time. Time might not be possible to, eventually will, but time is a question mark, depending on us, right? Suggest a book, Liberation. And with that in mind, we're going to move to our passes. I say thank you very much.